Look at that. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Pay attention. If you want to get into this, and you really, really do, and you think you got a little something, and you know, you got to go directly for what you want. And if you go for that, you can get it. Check it out.
So we are going to make a cut, and this cut is not going to be the next trunk section or anything. I'm just going to shorten it, and then I'll probably shorten it back again maybe later. Like for example, probably going to cut above this node here. Zoom in a little bit so hopefully you can see it. I know the shadows are not great, so I apologize, but somewhere right in here there's a little node. Probably cut right above that, but then ultimately I'll probably be going back to a node like here, or possibly even using one of these lower branches as the future leader. So I'm going to go ahead and make that cut.
Basically, you know, we just want to let people know that real rap music is alive. You know, freestyle music, we keep it alive. We're trying to do, you know, commercialization. But if they utter one word, then it's as good as seven. You haven't seen Jacob Mom, that's incredible. Some other brothers just despicable. As for me, see, I just knew how I love to do. Try to deny me of my rhymes, and I'll be seeing you. Most of you suckers want to be down for the tag along. The friggin' fans, someone tell them that this shit ain't game. You got to do this from your heart and in your inner soul. And if it's real, only then will you be on a roll. I gotta stay on top of game and hang on top of it.
It may be in the 30s or 40s outside, but it's about 70 in the greenhouse, and it stays this warm. So I'm gonna go ahead and start my spring work. I know it is early, but I did some, I made a spreadsheet with all the work I need to do, and if I don't start like this weekend, I won't be done before springtime. So I figured if I'm gonna start with one of the projects that I've been looking forward to the most. So I'm gonna go ahead and take some of the soil off, and then we'll see what the roots look like, and we'll see if it is a candidate for the Ebihara method. I thought I didn't have a board to screw it to, but I do have some in here. So that's good. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started, and I'll see you after I clean it up. Look at that. Look at that. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Alrighty, so before I start, I'm gonna have to change the camera angle a little bit so that I can see what I'm recording and not miss half of it. But just from the top, I was gonna give you a little bit of an angle just to see kind of what we're starting with. And I was wrong. I didn't plant this under a board last year, and I just got lucky with the root base growing outwards. Maybe it was the work that I did last spring. So this is kind of what we're working with. I think this is the 3rd year tree. There's the cut that we made last year. It did not heal over completely, and it's kind of bulbous. So you have some reverse taper there, but I'm not really worried about that right now. I'm worried about building this base, and I'm gonna build the rest after I have the foundation, you know. And I want to show you, I'm gonna move the camera, I wanna show you the root graft that we did, and we'll see if it's ready to be removed. And we're gonna just clean this all up and then probably put it on a board. First things first, I do need to clean up all of these crossing roots and these that are above the normal plane and things like that. But let's take a look at what happened with the work we did last year. So we're going to start off with this. This is the backside of a root graft that we did on this tree last spring. And the idea was we wanted a root on this backside to cover this gap that we had. This is the root graft that I did last year. You want to make sure that this is fully fused with the parent tree. If it's not, and you remove this part, the back, this may die. Generally, we want to look at the top and the bottom. You can't really distinguish between the two. What we've got is callus here, almost like bark, but that is over the graft. The callus I'm talking about is here, but under, it's completely fused. On the side, there is no distinguishing. On this side, there's no distinguishing. So this root is good. It's good to go, which means we can remove the rest of that tree on the back, which I'll do that later. I'm gonna go ahead and clean up the roots first. You don't really need to see my face for this. It's not that pretty anyway. We're going to be cutting any roots, as always, that are growing either up or down, or roots that are not in this plane of the rest of the roots. If they're below or they're above, then they're not going to fit with the final image of the tree in the pot, you know, like this, a little bit lower, but like this, you know. So those need to be removed. They have no place. And I will be using some root growing hormone on roots that I cut that I wish to branch out more. And then on others, or on the top, I'm going to use cut paste. This is cut paste that I make myself, and I sell it on my website for pretty cheap, and it's just as good as anything else that might cost you 2 or 3 times as much. So anyway, let's get to work. I'm mainly going to be using scissors, tweezers, and then some small cutters for roots that are a little bigger. And then if I have a big stubborn root, I have the big boys we can use. Just keep an eye on the flat base. Keep an eye on the reduction of outer roots that are large, like these. And keep in mind that we do have a lot of feeder roots, and we want to keep feeder roots close to the trunk as much as possible.
DJs that play that real live shit. You wanna bounce in your whip with that real live shit. Sound like it's straight from the motherfucking cassette.
Turn up the bass and let this funk rattle.